On our last video, we showed you how we plan to design the downstairs of our future house. Now that was recorded back in August when we'd realistically gone away and left a concrete slab on the ground. Between now and then, things have changed quite a bit. As I record this, we're now in 2023. We're in February, and the building and the works have been resting since about December time. But we're going to show you what happened in the 4-month period between August and December to get where we are today. So while we were away at the end of summer, the brickwork began on the house. We weren't there, we couldn't see it, but we had some videos sent to us so we could see the progress. As soon as we were back, we went straight to the building site. We were really keen to see what had gone on and what work had been done to the walls, and pretty safe to say we were happy with what we saw. It had begun to resemble a building. It was incredible to see the walls being built. I'm a fan of Lego, and if you're building a house, that's the first thing you do. That's what makes it look like a house. It was really exciting, but at this stage they'd only done the downstairs exterior walls. There was still a lot more to go. So I'm now on top of our first floor. You can see it's blocks here, going to be ready for walls. Obviously kind of missed this first stage on the ground floor because we were in Cornwall, but it's all coming on really nicely, you know. Got stairs now, got a floor. Crazy to see it at the minute. It's so exciting and it's changing so much and becoming a house, which is also pretty cool. So I think it's safe to say that without taking some evening classes, possibly getting an apprenticeship, there's not a lot that I can do on the building site and that I can do to help the house progress. You know, Aga's busy organising the design, getting different tradespeople in and making sure that, you know, the actual building process is going smoothly. But there's not a lot that I personally can do, which can be a little frustrating at times. That being said, there is maybe one place that I can have some influence in to make it look nice on move-in day, and that is the garden. It'll be fantastic to get into the house, whatever state the house is in when we move in, but to look out the windows and not see some sort of mud patch or, again, a building site, but maybe to see at least some grass. Can't really begin to express, I'm very happy. I wanted always a big garden, okay? It was always me. I said I would do the garden. You know, Aga designs all the house and all of that. I'm happy to design the garden. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, hugely bigger. So a little bit minorly petrified, but it'll be all right, I'm sure. We'll make it work. Our house, however, is built on particularly fertile former farmland, so it wouldn't just be as simple as planting grass seed and watching it grow. I mean, we could watch it grow, but it would come with a lot of other weeds as well. So we had to look at ways to prepare the ground for this spring where we're going to plant some grass. So step one of the weed killing process was trying to use Roundup. We want this to be ready for the spring, so as soon as we move in we can have grass, we can have, you know, nice garden. However, as you can see, it's pretty weedy, so got to get the weed killer out, hence the goggles. Just about to put my mask on. I'm going to start down there, all around the moundabout, and hopefully we're going to de-weed our future garden. all. Utterly useless. Step 2 is this. We are trying to kill it by starvation of light. Sounds very evil really, but the fact is we want a nice garden, we want a lawn. So we're hoping by sort of February, March time, this will all mulch down a lot. And by the time it's kind of mulched down, oh, I can use this rod to weigh it all down a bit. By the time it's all mulched down, we'll be able to get a digger in, because they're going to come level it out, and start to rotivate it and then plant some grass. We also wanted to get a little bit more privacy around the land. We know we're going to have neighbours and, you know, let's face it, everyone would like a little bit of privacy, and that can be done with borders, bushes, that sort of thing. But these things either cost a lot of money to buy them fully established, or they take a little bit of time to grow. So we wanted to prepare to be able to plant those as soon as possible. Back doing work in the garden. So the house behind, obviously, looking nice and good. We're trying to build a border because it's October, and October is a good time to plant border bushes or whatever. So what we're having to do, because the land's a little uneven, Aga is here rotivating, cutting all the soil, getting rid of the weeds. Give us a wave. And I'm trying to build what from this angle looks like a very wonky wall. It's not that wonky, it's fairly level with the ground, but obviously trying to make it so we can have one consistent sort of height for the border, and then when the trucks come and level everything, they'll just ignore that. So it's we're trying to use leftovers. So we've got leftover wood that we're going to put to use, leftover foundation blocks, like concrete foundation blocks as well. That's what I'm making the wall out of. It might not last long, but it'll last long enough to hopefully get a leveled border and then plant it. And as you can see, it's evening, lovely evening here. Still quite warm for mid to late October, and I'm knackered. Needless to say, a lot of things got in the way. Our border wall certainly isn't the best, but it certainly isn't finished yet either. So I'm going to be working on that early 2023. Hopefully it won't be long until it's finished and we've got the ground level, even, and some plants going in to begin our borders. Now, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to From the Ground Up. If this is the first that you're watching, there's a couple of other videos as well showing you through the first stages of the build and also the design stage of the build as well. But we've still got a lot to go. Realistically, we still have a shell. There's going to be installations, and we'll be able to talk to you about the choices that we've made along the way when it comes to electricity, boilers, plug sockets, all those fun things, and then actually finishing the house itself and finishing the garden. We are by no means very far into this series, so please do subscribe if you want to see more of the progress of our house. So the garden's going to be ongoing, but for the rest of the episode, we're going to be looking at getting the external and internal walls finished and beginning on the installations inside the house. So walls going up. You can see behind me now, you can see they're almost finished. We're a little bit behind schedule. You might also be able to see behind me a lot of puddles. So we're sort of, yeah, they should have finished the walls yesterday, but it's been raining so much. And to be honest, I wouldn't want to be up there on a roof in a rain, carrying heavy bricks and having to do fairly detailed work. So fairly understandable. Lots of the wood's coming off. You can see below me. If we walk into the house itself, actually by now, you can see the stairs have all been sort of, wood's come off the stairs, which is really, really exciting. But the house as well is a puddle. So hopefully we'll have better drainage in a few months' time. There you go, so we've got some proper concrete stairs. Builders have set up in here now because it's getting a lot more wintry. There you go. The gazebo outside is now abandoned, as you can just see behind me in the distance. But it's getting very, it's just every day we come here, it's growing and growing and growing, which is amazing to see. It's going to be a case of getting the roof construction built, so out of all the wood, then we're getting the roofer in. and then we'll be getting windows in, and the first stage of the house will be completely finished, which is mesmerising to think of. That should be done. So by the time that's done, it would have been 4 months. So I think that's pretty good going. As soon as the external walls were finished, we had a choice to make. Did we want to get going straight away on the internal walls, or did we want to wait? Now, a lot of that choice came down to whether we wanted to build it from the same bricks as the external walls are built from, or if we wanted to go for a plasterboard and wooden frame structure. We liked our builders, we trusted our builders, we decided, let's just keep going, let's get the internal walls done out of the solid brick. So that continued. The boiler rooms. This is the rear entrance of the house. This is the boiler room, where there will be a boiler and other things, and now we're in my multifunctional office space, and as we walk through I can now see some walls. So entrance to the house is there, of course. Here, downstairs toilet. Let's pretend that is a toilet and not a pile of bricks. This is where the fridge is going to live, so behind here is going to be a cupboard. Fridge will be exactly here, opening out. And this is the pantry, which feels like it's absolutely massive for a pantry. And that's the walls. We just had our first meal inside the house. We had a Subway sandwich. It wasn't very glamorous, but it was very tasty, so well worth it. And then if we go upstairs, I'll just poke the camera upstairs, you can see there is the beginnings of a roof. 2 planks of wood, but it's the beginnings of a roof. Now, when the interior and exterior walls were finished, the next stage was quite a big one, and that was getting the roof built on top of the house. We had actually made the decision months and months ago to order our tiles and our roof windows early, so that was all sorted. It was just up to now getting the roofer in and getting the wood structure built, and then a waterproof membrane to essentially help seal the house. Now, the next thing to fit was the windows to properly seal the house. Now, last January, we got a little bit excited and we went quite literally window shopping. We contacted loads of companies, went through loads of different ideas for windows, and we actually ended up with the best windows that we could afford. Mega sealed, because of course Poland in the winter can get really, really cold. And as warm as possible. Now, if you remember on episode 1, right at the beginning of the build, we had a little bit of an issue where we went well over budget when it came to digging the hole and all of the sand that we had to get put in. So you can see the diggings going on behind. You can see the nice portaloo. There we go. Got a shot of the portaloo. When I was walking down here and talking to you about saying worst case scenario, maybe we knew we were going to spend a lot of money on sand and all of that. Well, before today, the worst case scenario was probably 8 trucks of sand, 8 to 10 trucks, each costing, in English money, about £85 a truck. So I'll put the maths on screen now. That's changed. What is it? They started digging at about 7:15, maybe 7:20, let's say. It's now 8 o'clock, and that 45 minutes, our 8 to 10 trucks of sand has quickly become 20. One of the things that we thought maybe we could cut back on would have been the air circulation HVAC recuperation unit we were going to put in the house. However, due to the windows being incredibly sealed, we couldn't actually forgo that, because it would have meant having to have our windows open pretty much all winter to prevent the house getting mouldy and overly moist. So that was getting fitted, but first we had to get the windows inside the house and the building sealed. So we're now, I like to say we're in the depths of winter, but it's sort of mid-November. Windows have just gone in, which I think is quite good that it's gone in before all of this snow came down, as you can see. Walking around the house, it's very nice because all of our black plastic on the garden is now covered by snow, so it looks a lot nicer. We have got so much leftover wood. We've got it's unbelievable the amount of wood and bricks and things we've got left over. They had a bit of an issue with the interior walls, with the running out of bricks because they had to cut so many of them. But hey, we've got interior walls. The roof, as you can see, is like, nothing's really changed in about a month on the roof. They've just put a grid and a membrane, so at least it's weather sealed. But yeah, we've got our windows. We haven't got that many windows. We'll have a lot of skylights, I think like 6 skylights in the roof, but the main thing is to keep the house sealed and energy efficient. We've got our lovely sliding door, which is a big thing that we really were keen on. We had like loads of internal struggles onto whether we could afford one or not, and in the end we got a really good deal. And you can see that here, that's behind me now. Big sliding door into the house. Once the windows were in and once the installations had begun for the recuperation system, we then had a lot of choices to make, starting with electrics. So today we are here because we've got to mark out all the electric points on the house. We've got walls now, as you can see around me, it's a little bit chaotic. This is the stuff going into recuperation. So we've got a plan where we want the lights to go, where we want our light switches to go, where we want plugs to go, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but you've got to bear in mind it's a total blank slate. We kind of know how we're going to use the place. It's a house, we know where the sofa's going to be, we know where the kitchen's going to be, we know where the beds are going to be, that sort of thing. But you've got to plan the lighting now. Aga is an interior designer. She more or less knows what's what. I'm trying to plan more sort of the plugs and switches, that sort of thing. I'll be honest, I am stumped. I have no idea. I'm hoping that we don't mess it up. I'm really keen on the whole smart home idea, so I've been buying Wi-Fi smart switches, so at least, we can control it by Alexa and that sort of thing, turn off lights. I went to some friends recently and used that, and it was a really nice system, so we're planning that. Every single point where a light comes out, where a plug is, or where a switch is, costs around £6 to £7. So that's not including the switch, that's not including the light, that's not including anything. That is just where we want to have a point put. So we kind of caught the mind of planning ahead, making sure we've got enough, but also making sure we haven't got too much and we're wasting money. So it's quite a decision, but we're doing it. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it being finished at least. And excited. It's nice to have this sort of input. You don't get this sort of input when you buy a house. When it's a new build house, when you've just bought an older house, you don't get this sort of input. So try to feel lucky, but also try to make sure we don't mess it up.
Position would be to have just 3 wall lights above this window, and that would highlight really nicely the whole house as a...
Okay, do we want like a floodlight out to the garden at all?
I don't know, so here will be 1, 2, 3 like nice small lights, but I don't know about the floodlights. And that will be controlled also from inside, but it's on separate switch than these, because sometimes we might want to light maybe just here.
Now that was a fun day. Yeah. After we recorded that, we had a couple of hours plotting the electric plans in our freezing shell of a house. We went home, double-checked them, ordered some switches, had a glass of wine, changed our minds, moved everything around again, had another glass of wine, and then we sent the plans off to the electrician. And next up, the electricians were in. They were putting all the cables around the house to the points that we designed in our plans, and the plumber was in as well, starting to get those installations fitted. It really was becoming real at this point. And then we were done for the year. We'd surpassed stage 1. We had walls, we had windows, we had a roof, we had doors, we had the beginning of the installations. It was time to rest. So, as I record this, it is the 8th of December. We're off to England tomorrow. and so we're just going to see what's happening just before we leave. There's still going to be work going on while we're gone, but I stand in the exact point where on the first day of all the digging, I sort of was going on about the cost. It's now 8 o'clock, and at 45 minutes, our 8 to 10 trucks of sand has quickly become 20. Then, just couldn't imagine that we were going to get anywhere, to really be honest. Like, at the first day, everything kind of felt like it was going wrong. We had to cut costs, we had to do this, we had to do that, the other. Actually, we didn't. We've managed to go largely to plan. In fact, at some points, I think we probably end up doing better. And look, you know, that was behind me a field, and now it is a house. Like, the builders have done an incredible job. Ag has done an amazing job managing the whole project. We've got electricians in at the minute, we've got plumbers, we've got people doing recuperation, everything, and it's all gone to plan, and it's going really well. We're actually on schedule. But it's been such an exciting process, such an exciting thing to see change. And when we come back in the new year, I mentioned this is December the 8th right now, so as we come back in the new year, we're going to be getting everything finished inside, in the heating, and getting the floors down properly, getting it plastered. And then once that's done, which isn't that long, really, it isn't that long, we'll be able to start thinking about moving in, maybe not permanently, but at least moving in to do some of the DIY elements, you know, that sort of stuff. So it's really exciting. Yeah, it's kind of a house. Thanks again for joining us on From the Ground Up. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more about our journey building our house here in Poland. If you're looking to do a build yourself, I hope this has been informative and useful to you. If you're one of our friends and family watching just to see what we're doing here in Poland, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you next time for episode 4.